So, hi again. As many of my friends know, this time of year, the Valentine's Day season, is a particularly vulnerable time for me, as it is relatively easy to sell me almost anything that is red and heart-shaped or covered in hearts. Necklaces, candles, bowls, ornaments, cutting boards, spatulas, picture frames, cookies especially, scarves, you name it. And I have probably purchased it, or at least considered purchasing, a heart-shaped version of it. For me, Valentine's Day presents an opportunity to buy all kinds of necessary to me items that I'm going to use every day of the year. It's my time to stock up on hearts. I think I love hearts so much because I love being reminded of what they symbolize, which is love. Friends, I really believe in those words we have all heard throughout our lives about the power of love, about the necessity of love, about love being the answer to most of our personal and collective problems. Love will save the day. Love conquers all. Love will find a way. Love will guide us, we sang this morning. But I think you will also understand me when I say that with each day's new round of shocking headlines, it seems more challenging than ever, even for heart-loving me, to believe that love is really up to the job of fixing all that is so terribly wrong in our world. I mean, I love the song, All You Need Is Love, as much as anyone, and I love singing it with y'all. But these days, I can't help but to sometimes think, seriously? Are we seriously saying this? Even as I try to joyfully keep singing along. But perhaps this kind of thinking is being unfair to love. Maybe the question is not so much about whether love is strong enough to change the world. Maybe the more useful question is whether we are strong enough to help give as much love as is needed to change the world. And the kind of love, are we strong enough to give the kind of love that will always be needed to help bring into being a more just and peaceful world, peace-filled world? When we underestimate love, it is typically because we are focusing on just one or two narrow aspects of it. After all, as the old song goes, love is a many-splendored thing. Love can be an emotion. I love you. Love can be enthusiasm. I love pancakes. And I do. Somehow I always find a way to bring them up, too. But the more powerful manifestation of love is the one which one dictionary describes as self-giving concern. This definition of love says, I am willing to give of myself in order to help you thrive. This kind of love states, your happiness and well-being is important to me, even if I sometimes disagree with you or find you annoying. No one in this room, of course, right? This kind of love says, like the poem we heard earlier in the service, I will never relish the defeat of your humanity, even when I must defeat you in order to save and protect my own humanity or the humanity of other people that I care about. This self-giving concern type of love, now that's the one that changes the world. That's the one with the power to be pretty much all that we need. And I think it's also the kind of love I had in mind when I was trying to write that song, All Love Needs Is You. The words in that song say, love will never change the world without you. Love will never keep us together without you. Remember Captain and Tennille? I was trying to write that in. Love, yeah. Love to that. Love needs you to be it, to free it, to teach it, to preach it, to support it, right? And we certainly wished more people had voted for it. This kind of love, the kind that strengthens us and protects us and helps us to change the world for the better. Now, this is the kind of love that needs us just as much as we need it. Like the Stevie Wonder song that says, love's in need of love today. Don't delay. Send yours in right away. Hate's going around, breaking many hearts. Stop it, please, before it goes too far. Wrote it in the 70s, but he could have written it today. This is the kind of love that needs our love and attention. This kind of love needs us to build trusting bonds with our neighbors, no matter who they voted for. It's hard. This kind of love needs us to call our senators and congresspeople, even when it feels like it doesn't matter, because it actually does matter. And in fact, you can even help by sending a Valentine to your elected representative right here after service. Some of you probably did it before service. Our UUCA Legislative Action Network will have Valentine card tables right outside in our beautiful Pilgrim Art Gallery and in the social hall and in room 220 to help you do just that. You see, this kind of self-giving concern kind of love, it's more like dinner. It doesn't make itself. Thanks. I was like, are they going to leave me hanging? That's better. Day after day after day, someone has to make sure it gets done. And the more people there are to feed, the more people working together it requires to help make it happen. And even if you made it yesterday or today, it is still going to need to be made tomorrow, and the day after that, and the day after that. So we have to get out of our heads this idea that we're done or that we shouldn't have to do it. Some of it we actually shouldn't have to do, but you get the point. Now, I can hear what some of you are thinking right now, but I'm trying and it's not making a difference. Or, sure, I'm trying, my friends are trying, but not nearly enough other people are doing their part. Or, I've been doing this a long time already and I'm exhausted. It's all I can do to take care of myself and my own life right now. Friends, if any of these are your thoughts, and I definitely think each of these thoughts at least once, maybe twice a day, then let me share with you some of what helps me to banish those thoughts so that I can return again to what the poet Mary Oliver calls the work of loving the world. Imagine with me that you are walking down a wide open path on a blazingly hot, sunny day. Just when you are certain that you can't possibly take another step without finding a place to rest, you see a tall, leafy tree ahead. There's plenty of lush grass on the ground underneath the tree's wide branches, making it the perfect place to sit and rest for a while until you get your energy back. Sitting in the comfortable shade of this tree, get relaxed. Your hot and miserable experience is suddenly transformed into a relaxing, peaceful moment. And as you begin to cool down, you can feel yourself being restored. Out on the path, all you could think about was getting out of that sun. But now that you're sitting underneath this lovely tree, you can take a few minutes and notice the beauty of the landscape all around you. What a difference a well-placed tree can make. My point in sharing this story is to help you realize, or to remind you, because I have to remind myself every single day, that just like that tree providing the cool shade, we, all of us, are very real parts of the world. We're not just passing through. We are parts of the world. We are indeed the world. In a sense, everyone we meet is walking along a path, and their encounter with us changes their experience of that path. Are you a tree that provides shade or fruit? Am I a rock that causes them to stumble? What do people experience when they encounter the part of the world that is you or me? Can every person feel safe to be who they are in our part of the world? Or do they need to seek protection and shelter, sometimes urgently? It matters now as much as it ever has that we take our job seriously of being the love in the world. If we are doing our part, love will always have a safe perch somewhere in this world. And the people who encounter us will always experience love in this world on some basic level. Our job is to be love and to recruit others to do the same. And speaking of recruiting others to this cause, especially those people who might possibly, perhaps, be starting to potentially begin to consider regretting what they voted for. Martin Luther King reminds us that love is actually the only force capable of transforming an enemy into a friend. And also, the amazing African-American teacher, writer, activist, and MacArthur Genius Fellow, Loretta Ross, teaches us, as difficult as it is, we must learn the gentle but strong art of calling people in and not just calling them out. In fact, she has a book by that very name that just came out this week, Calling In. It's still just as important to remember that you're not the entire world. So you don't have to provide all the love all the time. You can get tired. Because in fact, you need to receive it just as much as you need to give it. And that is why we join together in this beloved community. Hear it in those words, beloved. Be loved. Be love. That is why we are here, to be loved, to give that love to each other right now and whenever we are together, and to strengthen each other so that we can be that kind of love when we walk outside these doors. I don't know if any of this is helpful to you. You know, we're all trying, right? But I pray that it is, because I love you in that way that means I wish for your thriving and well-being. I want to do things to help you flourish. It's hard for me to convey how much I sometimes regretted agreeing to do this sermon. Oh yeah, especially last night and even this morning. Because it can be difficult for even the most optimistic among us to consistently tap into that energy right now. But then I remembered this community, and my regrets fell aside. The love I have for this community and the lovely diversity of people who make it what it is, the love I feel from you is part of what holds me and keeps me week after week after week. This is a place where I am able to share my strengths and in which I am in turn strengthened by that sharing. And as a strengths coach, I can tell you that talking about your strengths is just another way of talking about behaviors, talents, and skills that you love doing. Things that energize you, that make you feel loved and valued. Things that make you feel like you're where you're supposed to be in that moment. If this place has not already become that kind of loving, strengthening place for you, I invite you to give it the opportunity to be so by finding a way to do something here that you love on behalf of love. Or find some place that you can do it, even if it's not here. Because you need it. And the world needs it, and love needs it. I will wrap up with a quote from my favorite hopeful, optimistic, radical historian, Howard Zinn. Doesn't everyone have a favorite optimistic, hopeful, radical historian? In this passage, he is talking about what life was like during the dark struggles of the civil rights movement. He writes, "The reward for participating in a movement for social justice is not the prospect of future victory. It is the exhilaration of standing together with other people, taking risk together, enjoying small triumphs, and enduring disheartening setbacks together." These years, this is Howard Zinn still speaking, when I attend reunions of SNCC, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, when I attend reunions of SNCC people and we sing and talk, everyone says in various ways the same thing. How awful those days were. Those days in the South, in the movement, and how they were the greatest days of our lives. Friends, may these terrible and challenging days also provide us with some of the greatest moments and days of our lives as we work and play and struggle together to be the people the world needs at this moment. The world needs us. Love needs us. May it be so. May we help and be helped to make it so. Amen.